So now we're moving on to card 2 for our online workshop. We're still staying with the Bright and Beautiful suite, and if you've not already had a look at the video, there is an introduction to the Bright and Beautiful suite that I've recorded separately to show you what's in the suite. And we are using the dies, we're going to use the stamps, and we're using these wonderful acetates that there are in this suite as well. Let me just show you the other patterns briefly. So we've got, let me grab a colour to put behind. We've got the sort of party streamers, we've got spots, and what we're using here is the kind of confetti. And you get 3 12 by 12 sheets out in a pack, and you can see that I can actually chop this. I have chopped it, let me move it that way. So I have chopped it that way and then across to create the card fronts for this. And that actually left me with this tiny piece here, which I will use for other projects. Little strips of this sort of acetate are really handy for being able to do various sort of little pop-up cards, etc. These sheets look great against something a bit darker or bolder. I think it doesn't show quite so much against a paler colour, so I like to go with the darker one. This is Pretty Peacock, and we've got Lost Lagoon, so these are new colours. I have die cut the star. This is one of the stars that's in the die set. We've got 2 different sizes, and I've used the smaller one. And the label is also from the die set. So I've brought in a bit of gold foil to die cut the stars from, and I'm using the gold from the Simply Elegant trim. You've got gold and silver, and of course if you want to, you could flip this over and you could use the silver, and then you could use the silver trim if you wanted. We don't at the moment have silver foil, so that might be a little bit more tricky. Or you could use smoky slate, it's close, it would work. So what we're going to do first is stamp our label. I'm using Pretty Peacock ink because I've actually got this still from previous. So I'm going to stamp the happy birthday sentiment onto my label. As always, I can't provide stamped images with your make and take kits, so you will use whatever you have got in your craft cupboard or whatever it might be. So I'm just going to ink this up with Pretty Peacock, and I'm actually stamping it at an angle because it's designed to be. So I'm actually making it a little bit more of an angle to make it evident that it's supposed to be like that. And that then is going to go on our card. Now I'm not sticking things down just yet because we've got a bit of a problem, possibly, but we haven't, it's okay. But the problem is that if you put the acetate on here, if we stick it on, you would see the adhesive. So the trick that we're going to use is to put all our adhesive behind our elements. So before I do that, I'm going to put my Simply Elegant trim on. I'm just going to pop this through, loop it through, tie it, and then I'm going to tie a bow. So one loop, another loop through, and oops, yeah, this is the problem because it's a bit slippy and I'm trying to do this on camera, but we'll try that again. There we are. So, and then we'll just nudge that around a little bit until we're happy with it, and we can just trim the ends like that. Now I'm going to pop this on with dimensionals, and we'll pop these behind, making sure that they don't show through the confetti holes. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to line these up. It just helps me get this where I want it. So I'm going to put this across again at a bit of an angle. Yeah, like that, that's good. And then I'm going to pop these up as well, and I'm going to pop one up here and the other two down below. So now the thing is, you're going to need a strong adhesive for this next bit, for putting this on. What we're going to do is pop the adhesive behind these points. I'm going to use tear and tape because I just prefer that. Oops. So I just want some little pieces behind these, making sure that it doesn't extend beyond my star. So just be careful that your pieces aren't too big there. Then I can put a longer piece behind here. Just make sure it's not going to show through. Let's just grab a couple of little snips and pop those behind these. So it doesn't need to be adhered down all over. So just flip it over, check that you can't see the adhesive, and then you can peel it off and stick. And it will, as long as you've used a strong adhesive, I wouldn't recommend seal for this bit. It's not really strong enough. You might manage with Seal Plus. I prefer my tear and tape. So, and then I'm just going to line these up at the bottom like that. Get those lined up around, and then I can press. I know where my adhesive is. I can press there like that. And now I can use my seal for putting this onto the front of the card. You could put this up on dimensionals as well if you wanted. So entirely up to you. Depends on how many layers you want. Similarly, I could have put that label and the stars on the front. I could have put those on direct rather than popped up. There we go. My card front, of course, is a bit bumpy, so you just need to be a bit careful with that. And there we go. That is going on that Lost Lagoon front. Turn it over, press a bit from the back. And now I'm going to stamp my insert. I've not included anything extra with this bit, so I'm just going to go with It's Time for a Celebration. Actually, no. We'll go with the curved one so that I can show you. So what I would recommend is that you lay that down so that it can adjust to where it should be. And I'm going to pop the balloon underneath, and I'm just getting these kind of lined up on the mat, on the back like that. And then I can get my block and pop that down to pick them up. There we go. So we're going to want our mat back because it's photopolymer. And ink this up. Make sure that's reasonably evenly inked. And I can see where I'm stamping, which is great. There we are. If you want to, you could stamp a few more sort of bells and whistles. We've got the wrong bit. Use some of these little bits of party confetti, as it were. And we'll just pop these up in the corners. Like that. And that's going into my card. So just being careful, I don't want to smudge my ink. Oh, come on. Ready for a new seal. Like I say, trying hard not to smudge the ink, with it being, particularly with it being a dark colour, it can spread. So, like I say, that's Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock that we're using. So turn over and press from that side so that I'm not smudging it. And that is our second card. So that one is really quite a special one with the acetate. And as I say, if you haven't seen it, please pop back and have a look at the other video that gives you an introduction to the Bright and Beautiful suite, because that includes the papers, the acetates, the stamp set and the dies. Okay.